Hello and welcome to Full Body Cars. With the video today, our focus is to demonstrate how to safely set up and perform your full body cars. And we're going to work head to toe, addressing all the major joints in the body, as well as some of the smaller accessory joints. Now, we really don't need any equipment, but if you have just one yoga block, I will be demonstrating some of the moves with this. And it is recommended if you do have one, just go ahead and snag it now. But with further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start on all fours. We're going to pull that belly button down into the ground. We want that chest and chin up nice and tall to start. From here, we're pushing away from the ground. And we're going to start at the lower back. So we're going to slowly walk that spine up into a nice flexed position, rounding that back, tucking the chin at the top. Simply reversing, pulling that lower back and belly button down into the ground while we raise that chest and chin back up tall. We're going to work through these nice and slowly 5 times. A little exhale as we round the back. Big breath in as we come back through down into the ground. And we're going to work 2 more times through those. Focusing on the breath. Making sure that the knees are staying just underneath the hips. The hands are staying just underneath the shoulders. We're not drifting or swaying. And from here, we're going to go ahead and stand up into a tall standing position. We're going to grab our yoga block and we're going to give it a nice little hug. From here, we want to make sure we're not hiking the shoulders up. We've got the shoulders down and we're kind of reaching away from the body with the elbows. So I'm driving those elbows away from the body. I'm going to bring the belly button in a little bit, little exhale, and I just want to flex that upper back. So I'm just rounding the upper back here. And then I'm going to rotate to my right and drop that elbow to the ground without leaning to the side. So I drop that elbow, nice stretch up through the side of the body. And then I'm going to simply walk it up the back. I stand up nice and tall without over flaring the ribs. Rotate to the other side and then bring that left elbow down and around with me. From here, I just simply tuck the upper body, rounding the upper body again, back in front. We're going to do that 2 more times, staying on the same side, following that same motion. Again, making sure that we're keeping a little bit of tension through the core, the feet are grounded, and I'm using my breath. Once we complete those 3, let's stand back up tall, reset a little bit, and then repeat, flexing back through the upper back, rotating to our left now, dropping the left elbow first, simply walking it up the back again, getting up nice and tall, dropping the right elbow, bringing it around, and flexing that upper back. We're going to work 2 more times through those. Making sure that we're keeping the hips square. We're not rotating the rest of the body. We're just moving through that upper back region. Awesome. We can set the block down. From here, we're going to keep the hands on the sides of the body for the next 2 movements. The first one will be the neck. We're going to tuck the chin into the chest. So I don't want to drop the head forward. I just want to pull that chin into the body. From here, I'm going to sweep that chin up the right collarbone, looking over the shoulder, and then dropping that ear down towards the shoulder. Drawing that big circle chin coming up to the sky, and bringing that left ear to the left shoulder. Bringing the chin down and around. We're going to repeat that for 2 more as well. And I know that while I'm talking, I want you to keep the mouth closed through the entire movement. This will allow for a nice big stretch to the front of the neck as well. Once we complete those three, let's reset back up tall. Hands to the side of the body, and again, making sure that we're bracing through that core a little bit. Chin is tucked. Now we're going to sweep to the left. And take note, I'm not trying to hike my shoulders. I'm just simply trying to move through what my neck allows. Let's go one more. Awesome. From here, shake it out a little bit. Next movement will be in the same position. So we're going to have those hands to the sides of the body. We want to keep the elbows nice and locked. And we're going to work through our scapula. So we're going to pull those shoulders forward. We're going to draw them up to the ears, pull them back, and drop them down. All the while I'm keeping some tension through the core still, and I'm not letting my ribs flare up. So I'm keeping everything packed in there. We're going to draw 4 more circles in that same position and direction. Again, the head stays back, the eyes stay up. We're not pushing the neck forward at all. And the hands will stay right there on the sides of the body. You can allow the hands to slide up and down, but try to avoid them sliding forward in front of the body. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see the same movement going back the other direction. So we pull back, up, forward, and down. We should feel a nice big stretch here through the shoulder blades, maybe through the front of the chest as well. And 2 more. Beautiful. With our next position, I'm going to drop down on the knees, but you can absolutely stay standing up for them. These are called our swimmers, and these are going to be our shoulder cars. So we're going to take the hands onto the lower back first, just like so. And then what we want to focus on is dropping the shoulders down and driving the elbows back. From here, we extend those hands straight back behind us. Take the thumbs and rotate them in towards the armpit. We raise up overhead and bring those hands in behind the head. From here, I'm going to drive those elbows back again. And I want to make sure that I'm, again, not over flaring these ribs. So I'm keeping these ribs packed in. I'm keeping some tension in the core. From here, with those elbows driving back, I extend those hands straight to the sky. Take those thumbs, turn them back in towards the armpits. Down, hands back onto the lower back. And we'll repeat that for just a couple more as well. Big rotation at the bottom, overhead, bringing those hands in and driving those elbows back. Big stretch back out, thumbs in, down, and back onto the lower back. Another thing to think about too with the hips, make sure we're not kicking the butt back behind us. So we are staying tall, hips stay underneath of us, core is braced. Let's go one more. From here, shoulders drop down, elbows pull back, extend, and rotate. Beautiful. And while we're here, let's go ahead and address the elbows as well. We're going to start with those palms open in front. Elbows are locked to begin. And we're going to raise those palms straight up to us without flaring the elbows out. I'm going to rotate from the elbow and bring those hands right back down. Repeat back in the same direction. Palms come up, rotate back into me, and right back down. We'll repeat these for 5 reps total. We should feel a nice little stretch here through the forearms. Feel the elbow joint working a little bit. These are great if you work any sort of desk job or if you're kind of using your hands a lot throughout the day. Those forearms can get really stressed out. I think that was 3. We're going to go 2 more times. And let's say 1 more. Kind of lost count there. Perfect. And with the wrists next, we're going to stay in line right there. And we're going to take them, we're going to make a nice little fist here. Maybe about 30% tension in the fist. So we don't want to be squeezing everything we've got. Make sure the shoulders drop down and back. A little bit of tension in the core. And now I'm going to pull those wrists in towards my midline, drop them down, and draw a big circle up and around. All the while, I'm just trying to keep my forearms flat, and I don't want to dump my hands in towards midline. I just want to work a big circle through the wrist. Again, if you're on your phone all day, if you're on the computer all day, these are a great movement to just keep some stress out of the wrist. Let's go 1 more, and we're going to reverse them back. Awesome. So now I'm going to take those wrists out away from midline first, drop them down, bring them up and around. There we go. We're going to go 2 more. Very nice. And that'll conclude the upper body cars. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, let's grab that yoga block if we have so, and we're going to lay down onto our side. We're going to begin to work in through our hips. Make sure I'm all the way on here. Perfect, perfect. So I'm just going to lay the head on the yoga block here. If you don't have the yoga block, you can just simply raise the arm up overhead and lay on the arm. But I like to have both hands free so I can clasp the hands together in front. That way I know if I begin to rotate backwards, my top hand's going to slide back, and vice versa. If I'm falling forward, that hand's going to fall forward. So I keep the upper body in line, bring the knees up past the hips, and from here I'm going to go ahead and pull that top knee up to the chest. I'm going to then drive that top knee back behind me, again keeping those hands clasped, and then take that foot and push it back behind me without actually extending the leg. So I should feel a nice big rotation coming at the hip joint here as I simply rotate the inside of the knee down towards the ground. I'm going to bring that back up in line and then reverse that same position back. So I drive that foot back behind me. I'm going to then tip that foot and try and raise it as far as I can in front of me before I start to drive that foot up to the sky. I'll max that out and then begin to rotate that knee around, swinging that foot through all the way back up in front. And we're going to work that same movement 2 more times each direction. Again, all the while keeping some tension in the core, keeping the rest of the body steady, and not trying to rush through these. Really focusing on feeling the movement. And last one here. Tipping the foot, driving to the sky, big rotation through, and all the way up and around. Awesome, relaxing there. We're going to flip sides here, and now we're going to hit the left leg. Same exact setup on the other side here. Arms clasped, or hands clasped, knees up over the hips. And what that does too, bringing the knees up over the hips, that keeps that lower back locked in place. It's a lot harder to flex the back around that lower back when you have those knees up past the chest. So we really focus on that hip joint. Pull that knee up, big rotation, drive the knee back behind us. Now we're driving the foot back while we rotate that hip through, Good, inside of the knee down into the ground. Back to our starting position and reversing back. Rotating the foot to the sky, driving that foot to the sky, and rotating that knee, swinging the hip all the way up. 2 more reps. All the while I'm here, I want to make sure I'm keeping the core braced. I've got a little bit of tension through the upper body, kind of keeping it locked down, making sure that the shoulders aren't hiking up. I'm not slouching. Good, and this is rep number 3 here. All the way back to our starting position. Awesome. We're going to work through 2 more. So again, with our yoga block, I'm going to simply drop the foot off the end here now. I want a little bit of space so that way I can move that ankle. So I'm going to pull those toes back to me first. And with the hands, you can keep yourself wherever's comfortable in this position. We're focusing on the ankle. With the other leg, you can extend it out. You can bring it in, whatever's most comfortable for you. And if you don't have the block, anything will work there. So again, I pull the toes back. I'm going to rotate that foot in towards my midline. And then I'm going to begin to push everything away. Nice big stretch. As I come back around, I'll pull those toes with me. And we're going to work 5 times each direction here. All the while, we're focusing on keeping the shin bones steady to the sky and just moving through that ankle. Keep these nice and controlled. Again, controlled articular rotations. None of these are to be rushed. I think that might have been 5. Let's go ahead and bring them back around the other way, pushing the toes, everything away from me, and then pulling everything back as I come back around. I'm going to go 2 more times. Perfect, there's our 5. Now we're going to simply switch sides. And again, whatever's comfortable with that other leg. Pulling those toes back to me, dropping them in towards midline, and pushing everything away as I come up and around. And as you work through all of these cars, a couple things to keep in mind. We shouldn't experience pain through any of these movements. If you are experiencing pain, you can do one of 2 things. You can shorten the range of motion and find a pain-free range and slowly begin to increase that range of motion as the body allows. Or you can simply stop the movement and reach out to somebody, reach out to a professional or somebody who may understand the body a little bit better and see if we can address what's going on. Should be 1 more rep here. Awesome. And with the last but not least, our toes. So we're going to do these 1 foot at a time as well. And you can be in a kneeling position, you can be in a standing position, a seated position, it'll work just fine for these. I'm going to stay kneeling just so you can see. What we want to do though is we want to focus on the big toe first. So I'm going to keep the rest of the toes down and I'm going to simply lift that big toe. Just lifting the big toe only. I'm going to do that 5 times. So let's go 1 more. Now I'm going to push that big toe down and just lift those little toes. We're going to do that 5 times too. Small pause. There's our 5. Now we're going to pick all the toes up at once. I'm going to press just that big toe down. And 1 more. Perfect. And I'm sure you can figure out the next. Keep the big toe up. And let's play the piano with the little toes. We're trying to press the pinky down first and let the other ones follow. Should be one more. Perfect. There's our 5. Swing to the other side here. And same thing, little toes down, just lifting big toe first. These may be tough for a lot of us. That's okay. Start with what you can and build into it. Lifting the little toes now. And one more. Perfect. Picking all the toes up and now just pressing that big toe down. There's our 5 and the piano with the little ones. And 5. Awesome. That concludes everything with the full body card series today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, please feel free to shoot me a message, get in touch with me any which social media or via however you'd like, and we can absolutely address those concerns. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed.